Hello, welcome to the Book Fix Podcast, a podcast where we fix lives one book at a time, but now we're fixing lives one scary book at a time. I'm your host, Cheli.
And I'm your host, Yajaira.
And we are deep in spooky season, dude. I think it's almost October, right? It's like a week away. No, it'll be like 4 days away.
Yeah, October would be right around the corner. Isn't that crazy? I feel like September flew right by.
I know, and I can already smell the pumpkin spice surrounding my house and my very being. Like, it's everywhere.
I thought it would be. I thought it would already be surrounding your house because didn't pumpkin spice come back like a while ago?
Yeah, I've been getting it like every other week. I like text my coworkers because there's not a Starbucks around me, and I'll be like, "I will give you money. Just please get me my pumpkin spice latte." It's funny because they're so fucking good. I've always liked pumpkin, but there's like that stereotype that comes with liking pumpkin spice latte.
And you don't fit that stereotype.
I don't think so.
No, I don't think so either.
I don't know. But I think this year we did a very good job picking our spooky books because they're not just mystery. Like we have like a very big range of mystery, thriller, like straight up horror, like with this book specifically, very disgusting horror. And I wanted to ask you, did you ever see yourself reading these types of books?
No.
Me neither. And I don't mind it because at least I could say I tried it. You know what I mean? But I don't want to put this type of writing down. It was just really hard to get through some of these books. So starting from now to every book we're going to talk to for the next few weeks, because I've read a couple of them already, the spookometer is going to be off the chart.
I am so excited to see like where you're at in the spookometer for all of these books, because I read a lot yesterday and Cheli read a lot yesterday too. I'm just so excited to talk about all these books. And it's interesting because I think what I love about this podcast, it allows us to read things that we wouldn't have necessarily like picked out ourselves. Because sometimes when we bring a book up, sometimes I don't even know what really it's about. I just bring it up because I like saw someone say like one line about it or, mention it in some sort of Instagram reel. And I'm like, yeah, let's give it a try.
Okay, well, I don't know when you want to mention our spookometer rating. We can mention it at the end when we talk about our rating. But today we are going to be reading a novelette by PC3. His fans call him, but he's Patrick C. Harrison III. And we are reading 100% Match. So this story centers around a almost 30-year-old man. I think he's exactly 30, actually.
I think so. I don't remember.
His name is Bartholomew Bartley, and all he wants in his life is to find his 100% perfect match, perfect girl, his love for the rest of his life. And he is someone who is super into statistics. So everything that he does in his life is with the intention of hopefully finding his 100% match. However, he is not who he seems. And when he does meet a potential candidate, they are also not who they seem to be. So if you're interested in, I would say, gore,
unsettling moments, I guess,
trigger warning to stalking. If you're interested in reading this book,
dude, also
it is very short.
Trigger warning to like bodily fluids and all that.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. I've seen that as a trigger warning before. And because I've never read books like that, I always thought like, what a weird thing to bring up. I get it now. I get it. Yeah. I get why that has to be a trigger warning.
Yeah, I definitely get it too.
Oh gosh. Okay. So Yajaira and I don't tell each other how we feel about the stories that we read, but knowing you and you knowing me, we're not really into disgusting shit.
No.
Like both of us, I feel, get very grossed out very easily.
Yeah. We don't really pick up books like this either. Like,
but
this is definitely not something, had I known what would transpire, I probably wouldn't have read it.
Yeah, me neither. But you had read it first and you had finished it. So we had to keep going. But I don't think you rated it on that. I think you rated it on like the content of the book and the like your intrigue in the story. So that being said, I think you're going to give this book like a 3.5.
Okay. I have no idea what you would give it. I'm going to guess a 2. Cuz I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know if you dislike it enough for a 1. I don't know. I'm just going to guess a 2.
Okay. Sounds good. So right off the bat, I do want to say I'm not a fan of dark humor and I never have been. I don't like self-deprecating jokes. I don't like
that used to
jokes
be us,
about like
remember?
Yeah, when we were like teenagers.
Yeah.
But I don't like that type of humor. I don't like humor about people getting hurt or just like humor involving any bodily fluids or anything. So I was very, very thrown off because I was under the impression that we were going to read a book that was similar to Pen Pal.
Oh, okay. Yeah, when you mentioned stalking, I thought it was going to be more like You on Netflix. That's what I was thinking it was going to be like, but definitely not.
Yeah, so our main character, Bartholomew, who goes by Bart, just wants to find his perfect match. And I do want to say, I do find it interesting that he is basically talking to himself in this book
the entire
and
time.
telling us his story, but the entire time throwing in statistics about women. And even like the beginning, his first line, I thought was a really good first line for a book. It says 0.001752% of relationships end in homicide.
Yeah,
God fucking damn.
Throughout the whole like story, he's throwing out a lot of statistics. And it'll be like 69% of women prefer the dad bod as opposed to like a chiseled look. And it's just like a whole bunch of things. And even things that you wouldn't really like think about. But he knows like everything apparently about women. Like even how women feel about men who have glasses on, like reading glasses. Like, do they like that? Do they don't? And then also he works at Jim's Burger joint. And so he knows that being a fry cook is like the least sought out job for a love interest, I guess.
He does say though, like he knows he has a lot of flaws and faults that would put him on a lower ranking, but he is currently working on upgrading his desirability because he is trying to become a teacher, an elementary educator. But he's like, but there is like a little mishap, but right now all of that is getting figured out. It was a complete misunderstanding, I assure you. That's how he says it. Dude, it's so weird because when he talks in this story, he never really talks about what has happened in his past. He'll just say things like, oh yeah, I'm not allowed to do this anymore because of something involving a raccoon, a cucumber, and a hammer.
Yeah, it'll be like, oh, that one incident on that one hot day. It's like he makes everything so like, it's like a passing thing, you know? It's like, whatever.
But it like... it's weird at first, you know, I'm like, okay, he's just very particular with like the way he thinks. But then he fucking blows his nose and puts it in a Ziploc bag. And I'm like, nah.
Oh my God. It's like
not down.
Things happen with no explanation. It's like 1 minute he's just like talking about putting this in his Ziploc bag. Oh my God. Oh my God. And that part where he's like, oh, I put it in the fridge right next to my neighbor's Chihuahua. And
yeah.
Then when I think he's at work, but he's like, oh, I don't remember if I masturbated in this jar of mayonnaise. It's like things will just be thrown in there. And it's like, what the fuck? What is
that? He talks about him cooking and then he throws the contents of his Kleenex from the morning in the cooking. And he makes no like indication of doing this out of malice, no indication of doing this for any reason. It's just kind of like, yeah, I did it. One of my coworkers had a slice of what I made. And it's like, that's disgusting. And there's even a point where he like makes chili
Oh yeah, I was
and
gonna
like
bring that up too.
basically like shits in it. And I was like, okay, that's disgusting. But then he has some.
Yeah, and he's like, wow, it's pretty good. It's like, what the?
Yeah, compliments to the chef. Oh, I found the line with the raccoon. It was like, he has a car. It belongs to his mom. It's a Buick. But my license was suspended after an unfortunate incident involving a raccoon, a bottle of castor oil, and a road trip down to Galveston. Or Galveston.
Mm-hmm.
That's fucking wild, dude.
Mm-hmm.
I was so... Like, the first one was weird. The first chapter was weird. Like, you also see the type of person he is.
But also just the way that it ends. It's just like, it ends with saying...
That's what I was going to talk about.
Before heading to bed, I shoot the kid I have chained up in the basement. 76% of women can be convinced that the sound of a gunshot was actually a car backfiring. It's like, how the fuck are you just going to end a chapter like that? But I think like... Dude. A lot of the moments in the book is just so like, oh yeah, and also I did this, but it's like no other explanation needed, I guess. It's just, yeah, it's just what happened.
But I will say that one shocked me. Like, because, you know, you're reading it and it's very good at being like, okay, not what I expected from the book, but now I understand how the character is, so I can expect it from him. But then it keeps getting weirder, and that threw me off. Mm-hmm. And that actually really scared me.
Yeah.
So I did have to stop reading for a while because I was like, what the fuck is wrong with this guy? Mm-hmm. Oh my God. It's just so much. And the fact that he doesn't really refer to any of his victims as like a big deal. It's just like, oh yeah, that kid. You know, that's he even like resorts to labeling people. Like there's a point where they meet someone and it's like, oh, it's that lady whose dog I killed. I kept all of the legs, left the torso.
Yeah.
Like, oh God.
After that, he does end up going on a date with a woman named Deborah. Or no, he reminisces this, right? He says, like, I went on a date once with a blonde. And I love that he's still giving us statistics. I do wonder, are these, like, actual statistics or just based on, like, his own life? So he says, like...
I feel like some of them are based on his own life, because then he talks about Deborah and about how she's not a vegan. And then it was like, yeah... I'm glad she's not a vegan because 100% of vegans are snooty and attention seeking and they're impossible to please. Yeah. And it's like, that seems more like you, Bart. That seems like someone hurt you who was a vegan.
Yeah. And also, of course, you're not a vegan. You don't give a fuck about anything.
Yep. So he talks about Deborah, and she basically lied to him and ended up having...
No, you're thinking of someone else.
No, I'm thinking of someone else.
But anyway, so Deborah, I think he like kind of liked her, but not like a lot, because he mentions that they ended up going to Applebee's. He said, I wanted to give Deborah the opportunity to choose where we went, but she declined. And then he puts in parentheses, if a woman ever freely decides where to eat, alarm bells should immediately go off. It's like, this bitch doesn't even want like a girl to just like say like what she wants.
Oh, but dude, he was so like Deborah was okay, but she also wanted to be a doctor, but she didn't know how to say shit. Like instead of saying intense and purposes, she would say intensive purposes. Or instead of Pacific, she would say specific. Like she would mix those. So then he's talking about how much he doesn't like her. And then the last paragraph is, 2 days later, Deborah would die after spraying herself with hydrofluoric acid that had somehow found its way into her perfume bottle. Sad, but she wasn't going to be a doctor anyway. Dude! Oh my God.
Bart's kind of a bitch. I can't fucking stand Bart.
And there's never a moment in this story where he
isn't a bitch.
Looks like he regrets anything that he's done.
No, he definitely doesn't. Not at all.
No. So I'm going to speed through this part, but basically he goes to go get milk one day at the grocery store and crashes into a potential candidate for his 100% match because she's like pretty, but not too pretty. She's like kind of big, so people aren't going to hit on her. She is wearing very little makeup, which is good because it's natural beauty. And she drops her wallet. So then he gives it back to her. And that's kind of the end of that.
But he really liked her because she seemed like someone who would be a good partner, just based on physical appearance alone. Because he was also someone who was really big on women not wearing too much makeup, obviously being brunette, because he said that blondes don't really want something serious, like stupid shit like that, pretty much. But after that, then he talks about Wendy, which I like the way this one starts because, again, gotta have our facts, our little stats. He's like 22% of modern relationships begin online. And so, of course, he ends up connecting with Wendy online. And to me, it kind of seemed like this one was a more like potential lover because they did keep up online relationship, and she always declined when he was like, hey, let's talk on the phone. She would just be like, oh, I can't. Forgot why, but she was just like, I can't. And so I think that there was a moment where he mentions like that she's kind of like reclusive, right? She doesn't really like going out. And he says, excellent. True love is only really experienced when you're alone together. She said she'd never been in love and dreamed of the day when she'd be united with her soulmate because the world, she explained, created a perfect match for everyone. So now it's like, oh my God, Wendy's looking so perfect for him, right? It's like she thinks similarly to him. And so even though they're a long distance relationship, he's like, okay, you know what? 60% of long distance relationships work out. We have a good stats on our hands, right? So then they finally meet up, and I think they meet up like halfway mark between them. I forgot how far that was, but they meet up.
It was like 4 hours,
something like that, right? So they meet at a restaurant. And they're eating, whatever. And she tells him, oh my God, Bart, sorry, I have something to confess. And he's like, oh my gosh, she's going to tell me that she's not actually 26 because he's like, she has crow's feet. Obviously, she's not 26. And so
I fucking hate him.
She's like, Bart, I have kids. I have 5 kids. And he's like completely shuts down. Doesn't even say anything to her. And then she's like trying to apologize. I'm sorry, but you're really going to love them. It's going to be okay. And so he just ends up leaving without saying another word. But again, like it always ends in such a crazy way because he's like, unfortunately, Wendy died that night along with all 5 of her children and 3 other residents when her apartment building burned down. Another artist gone before her time because she was a poet. I'm just thinking, like, how the fuck did he find out where she lived? Like, how does he know where to find her?
Because he's gross. He's so gross and disgusting. Nothing. Because, like, okay. He always, in every chapter when it talks about, like, the women that he's dated in the past, he always brings up to every single woman that he wants to work with children. But remember, he brings this up because it's, like, a desirable trait for women that there's someone... because apparently elementary educators prefer the success of a long-term relationship. And he always brings this shit up, but then he also fucking hates kids. Like he doesn't want any kids. And he had that kid in his basement who he had shot. Like he has no intention of liking what he does. It's only because he wants the outcome of having his match. And that's so fucking disgusting to me, dude. Like I tried to view this as like, okay, what has hurt him or harmed him to make him act like this? But it's never really revealed why he's like this. No, it doesn't.
Because it doesn't matter.
He just is.
To me, what pissed me off a lot was throughout the story, he'll be like talking to other women or he'll see other women in the freaking like neighbors that he knows, and he'll be degrading them like, oh, they're not even cute, they're not even pretty, or her boobs are saggy, but I did masturbate to her a total of 43 times. It's like, Bart, what the fuck is wrong with you?
Yep. Even to like that old lady neighbor, he was like, yeah, widow? I wouldn't. Yeah. Yep. Miss Danbury. He's like, I wouldn't, but I did masturbate to her 3 times.
Oh my God. Ew.
It's so crazy to me too that, okay, because the next chapter is when he's at work, but it's so crazy to me too that he's over here doing the weirdest shit at work, like putting like human feces, putting disgusting bodily fluids, pieces of human meat or like animal meat.
The smashed bugs.
Oh, yeah. Smashed bugs, anything like that into his food, and that he never fucking gets caught. And it's not even that he tries to hide it either. It's just he does it.
To me, it's crazy that no one in this story makes a comment that this man fucking smells. Oh my God. I just feel like he smells so fucking bad. There's no way he doesn't. There's no way.
But isn't it weird too?
He literally had his shit in a Ziploc bag in his pocket. Like, are you kidding me?
Mm-hmm. But isn't it weird too that like every time, I don't know, it was weird to me. Every time it pointed out him washing his teeth, he would always do it twice.
Yes.
Like, I don't know why that was such a standout thing.
Yeah, but he did that a lot. Like when he was trying to clean himself up, he did it a couple of times because I think he just knew that he smelled so bad. Come on. The man is weird.
But he did it. Yeah. I like how it's fucking getting to you. You're like, this bitch is just weird. Why are we talking about him?
He's demented. He's crazy. I can't stand this bitch. Oh my God.
But it's just like one of those people that like, because he was so unnoticed, he got away with this shit all the time. Because people don't think about him.
To me, I think I was getting triggered because I was like, he's a fry cook. And people are just eating this shit. Oh my God. I'm never eating.
Dude,
in any place ever
it's funny because I posted this online. Like I posted me reading about that first moment when he put the stuff in the burger.
Oh yeah.
And one of my friends like saw it and she commented and she was just like, I was eating a burger. Like you could have warned me that you were gonna read this book or something. And I was like, oh, I'm so sorry. Because it made me feel sick. I had just eaten and I was like, ugh. I don't want to read this.
Yeah.
Oh, and I just want to bring up his exercise that he does at the job. He just does hip thrusts. And this boy really be in the freezer just hip thrusting. If I walked into my coworker just doing that in silence, but also I think I would just walk out.
The shadow box. I highlighted that because I was like, oh my God, Charlie's going to love this.
Can you imagine? Like you see someone and they're shadow boxing and then they're like 100. Okay. It's like, what the fuck are you doing? But okay. Work, I guess. So Bart is at work the next day. And it's funny because this chapter just starts with 40.3% of Uber drivers are female, and I did not get one. So he just always gets male. Oh, that's when they make the chili and he puts his shit in it, and then everyone loves it, and he tries some too, and he loves it, which is gross. But whatever, he has no decency, so he just does that type of shit. But the lady that had dropped her wallet before comes into the burger place asking for him. And his coworker Rico is like, go out there, fucking go out there. She's looking for you. And her name is Sarah. And Sarah asks him to go to coffee. And they both agree to go to a local place. And he brings up the only 7% of women prefer to ask out the man as opposed to being asked out. And I thought at this point that Sarah was going to be very as demented as him.
Same.
And I kind of hoped that where this was going would be him going like, this bitch crazy. Oh my God. Like I kind of wanted him to experience that Joe Goldberg did in You. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, I would have been pissed. Again. I had a feeling that she had to be like him because I was like, who would look at this man and be like, yeah, that's my man right there. I knew she was crazy.
That's him. But it's so weird because it's like such a good interaction that they have with each other. He talks about being really happy. I think he treats himself to like a hot dog. He's walking home. Dude, the last two fucking paragraphs in this chapter freaked me the fuck out like a lot.
Which one?
So let me read it to you.
Go ahead.
After a long shower, I pee into a coffee mug and put it in the microwave for 82 seconds and put a sleepy time tea bag into it. I drink this while watching a documentary about the prevalence of necrophilia in the concentration camps of World War II. Before going to bed, I send an email to my senator telling him he'll be assassinated in 13 days. I have trouble getting to sleep, so I stick my finger in my butt and count to 50.
Oh, yeah. That's fucking crazy.
The fuck is wrong with him?
I don't know.
Like, oh my God.
Oh my God. What the fuck is wrong with this man?
The email. Like, how is this man not being tracked?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too. Like, when you send a threatening email, especially to someone in politics, I feel
a government official, yeah.
Yeah, I feel like someone would fucking bust down your door.
So yeah, this is when he goes to the coffee shop and meets up with her, realizes that the barista is the person whose dog he killed and dismembered. They have a good date, and they bring up meeting a second time. And meeting at
she's
her
like,
house.
Yeah, she's like, well, do you want to come over and we can watch like a show or something? And he's just like, yeah. And they trade numbers.
I'm guessing he's a virgin, right?
Yeah, of course. 100%.
Yeah. But his last statistic in this chapter was 89% of women who ask for a second date with a man desire a long-term relationship. 72% of women who ask for a man to come to their home are open to the possibility of sex. So I think he was getting excited. I think Bart really thought that this was going to work.
He really thought he was going to hit home run. He was like, hell yeah, this is it. This is it. This is my moment.
So this next chapter is called Post-Date Drama. And the fact that he calls this drama, oh God, dude, it's infuriating because if I were in the story and I told Bart, you literally killed someone, he'd be like, I know the drama. And I'm like, no, you literally killed someone, Bart. Like,
so he'd be like,
what's not computing?
Don't be dramatic.
Don't be dramatic. They happened to die. It was their fault for stopping me. Because he's driving his Buick that he's not supposed to be driving because of the incident that happened. And his license is suspended. And he gets stopped because of a brake light that didn't work. And the cop is like super nice about it. And is like, yeah, I have to run your plates though. And I have to run your license because it's just protocol. And so then he's like, oh, can you show me the brake light? And he goes back there and hits her with a crowbar. And like, she basically gets shoved into his trunk. She starts to shoot because she didn't die. And then he shoots his gun that he has in his car 15 times.
No, he took her gun. Remember he said that he didn't know that she had an extra hidden gun?
Oh, okay. You're right.
Or maybe it was his gun. I'm not sure. But I do remember that he was like surprised that she still had a weapon on her. And that
so gross.
That last paragraph. Oh my God, dude. I feel like this story somehow just got progressively worse when it started so fucking gross. Why is he always watching the weirdest documentaries? Red flag.
That night I want to say one thing that you highlighted because I totally forgot this fucking happened. What? But when the cop asked for license and registration, it says right here, pulling my license from my wallet, I hand her both items and I fart loudly because 82% of women who hear a stranger fart try to avoid interaction with this person. I fucking hate that shit. That gives me the ick.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
It was fucking gross.
Anyway,
he really
when this
thought,
chapter...
like, oh, if my fart really smells right now, she'll go away. Bitch.
It's like, no, Bart, you smell as a whole. Like, she should have been away.
Yeah, so... Fuck. This is why you're a loser.
So this chapter... Bitch. Just calling him out. That night, to celebrate a successful date with Sarah, I smear my own feces across my naked body, then violate the officer's corpse with her nightstick while I watch a documentary on extreme body modifications. You know,
I feel like I don't think we gave a big enough trigger warning at the beginning of this fucking episode.
I could edit and put one because I think it needs one.
Oh my God.
It's so disgusting, dude. And I'm just like, because it makes me think of people that are like this gross, you know, and how some things go so under the radar sometimes. And this is the man who is trying to become an educator.
I just feel like there's no way one person can get away with this much. Like, there's just no way.
Well, I mean, he has no contact with anyone. Like, everyone in his family has died mysteriously, but it's all because he has killed them, right?
Yeah. No, yes, I agree. But also, like, just with the email alone, like, he's obviously doing things that should, alert the police or somebody, the FBI, God, anybody. So I just feel like there's no way he would get away with that.
Same. I don't understand how he's getting away with it. But then again, it's not like it's gonna last because we're at our final chapter.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's Sarah's house. He finally goes to Sarah's house and they're having dinner.
Mm-hmm.
And honestly, it's going kind of great because she serves him tea. And he's like, I love the tea and I'm here for tea.
And this man loves his tea. He loves it.
His herbal tea. He drinks it, but then his brain starts to get foggy and he's like, maybe I'm just sleepy. But then the chapter ends with 43% of men report having a drink unknowingly spiked at some point in their life. A shocking statistic. Like, not expecting it to happen to him. This is the last chapter. It's called A Perfect Match. And he basically wakes up and Sarah is like in a complete latex. Yeah. Is it latex? What's it?
Yeah, it's latex.
Made out of outfit.
Yeah, it's
over
latex.
Her whole body, even her face that has like a zipper for her mouth and her eyes or whatever. And she is like a dominatrix. Mm-hmm. And he just starts thinking like, wow, she enjoys bondage. Okay. Like, mm-hmm. And it's weird because it's like this whole story, by the way, Bart never speaks in dialogue. He speaks in like written form. Mm-hmm. Like when Sarah's asking him questions, it'll say things like, I answered by saying, I told her that. Mm-hmm. So while Sarah's talking, he's just kind of very chill and is like, glad you're into this, Sarah, but I'd kind of like to go home if that's okay.
I'm kind of
Sarah,
cold.
I get it. I know, Sarah. And I'm actually kind of naked and a little embarrassed. Penis really small. Like, maybe another day, Sarah. Like, he's trying to get out of it. Uh-huh. So then I think she tries a whip on him first and he gets hit the first time and he's like, not that bad. It's not that bad, But then she keeps going. It turns out that she's filming this live and she says, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and people of every sort, this is a lesson on what happens when you're a naughty boy. Do you want to see what I do to bad little boys? Do you want to learn how you should treat bad little boys? Of course you do. And then he's over here going like, I'm not a bad little boy. I'm Bartholomew Bartley. Like, I'm pretty so nice if you get to know me.
Remember when I gave you back your wallet? I was super nice.
That was so nice. I didn't even puke in it.
I could have kept it.
Yeah. It had $3 in there. And almost one of those like, the sticker things when you go to boba places. It's like, I saw it was almost at 10, but I gave it back to you. But the first thing that she does is the puke funnel.
Oh my God, yeah.
Where she puts it in his mouth and she pukes in the funnel and then it goes in his mouth. Yeah.
Ew.
I'm so sorry. Yeah, it's disgusting. It takes a while. But after that, the things that she does is very grotesque. She smashes his genitals with a hammer. She saws off all of his toes, sticks needles in his eyes, whips, paddles, flogs, puts all a bunch of stuff inside of him, cuts off his penis and puts it in his butt, and uses a giant dildo to shove it even further. Lots of people requested butt stuff. All sorts of things were getting shoved up there. At one point, Sarah pulls poop out of my butt and smears it on me. And then he finds it ironic because that's the type of stuff that he would do at home, that he would like enjoy. And then here's this happening to him. Mm-hmm. But it's written like now he has passed away. These are the last two paragraphs. I don't last long when the knives come out and she starts exploring my insides. I'm assuming the video lasts a good while after I'm dead. No reason for her to stop just because my heart does. 0.000000006% of women in the United States make a living doing snuff films. And that one lady just so happens to be my perfect match. My 100% match.
But is she, though? Is she your perfect match? Because, I mean...
It's like, I don't know. When she cut off...
She didn't even like you,
When
though.
she, like, cut off my dick, she kind of, like, had this little, like, sparkle in her eye. And I don't know. I don't know if I'm reading too much into it. But, I don't know. Maybe we're, like, meant to be.
I don't think so.
Dude. What did we read? I wanted to read it because it had like an interesting premise, but this isn't the shit that I thought we were gonna be reading.
You know, okay, so I'm gonna say something. If anybody loves this other book that we almost were gonna talk about, I'm sorry, but we were gonna talk about Naomi's Room by Jonathan Aycliffe. You know how I told,
which you gave a 2.
You know how I told you, Cheli, that that book was triggering and I didn't want to talk about it? Yeah. Mm-hmm. I almost wish we would have talked about that one instead.
Can you tell me, if we weren't reading this book for the podcast, at what point would you have DNF'd?
The beginning. Like, way far in the
beginning. I think I would have finished the first chapter. But I would have stopped after him saying that he killed a kid in the basement. Yeah. Because, you know, I don't like things that involve children.
I think that's
was... not...
Yeah, that's what I meant by the beginning. Because that's when it first got crazy. Because then it just gets worse. Somehow it just gets worse.
And I don't know. I know that some people enjoy that, though. Some people like reading stories that don't end well. That are not good the entire time. But I thought... that when we were going to talk about horror, I'm a little disappointed that this is what constitutes as horror. Because this is just gross.
Yeah.
Like, I have not... In the spook meter, even though there were the moments that did spook me, I'm still going to give it a 2. Because this shit ain't going to keep me up at night. I don't want to think about it anymore, so I'm not.
A 2?
Like,
as the rating or in the spookdometer?
Spookometer.
Oh, okay.
So, like, I don't know. It's just disappointing that this would be considered a horror book. It's not scary. It's just gross. But people read that. Yeah. And then a lot of people because I don't know if you saw, because we both read it off of Kindle. Mm-hmm. After the story ended, they had the people who reviewed the story at the very end. And everyone was basically saying that, it's very grotesque. One of the most extreme, twisted, splattery pieces of fiction to ever come out. This book will have you thinking whatever god you worship, that you don't have to, like, go through this, basically. And, like, I get it, but why did I read it then?
Yeah. Like,
I don't know. I can't see the interest in reading these types of books.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think it's for us. No shame to anyone who enjoys these types of books, but I just feel like it was way too much for me. It was too gory. It was too gross. I felt disgusting. I didn't feel spooked. I just felt really disgusting.
But I really hope that by the next time we do spooky season again, that we could take viewer recommendations. Because I think that would probably be better. Because we did base this off of like, oh, someone talked about it online. But I would rather someone actually, like if we told them what we were specifically looking for, that people can recommend us books that are maybe not like this one.
But I feel
I did not enjoy reading this book.
But I feel like some people could still recommend a book like this, though. You know?
Like, yeah, but our viewers would never do us dirty.
But we're always reading like different things. So I don't know.
I don't mind having read it though. Like I read it and now that's just what it is. Like I could say that I read it. But I don't know. It disappointed me.
I didn't like it. I wish I honestly wish I wouldn't have read it. I feel like if we were to, when we pick our like favorite read, this would be my I wish I could burn this out of my brain read. You know, like this.
Yeah, we need to make the tier list one longer because our tier list usually has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 things on it. We need to add another one on the bottom and just be like, sadly, I remember it, but I'm gonna try to burn it off of. out of my mind with therapy.
Yes.
It's really, really bad.
Yeah.
I cannot wait for this tier list when we reminisce about this stuff, because I know for a fact that as soon as this book comes up, we're going to be like, this bitch.
This
I do want to say, though, that the author, PC3, does know how to write. I'm not taking that away from him. He did a really good job telling the story. I could imagine it. I just wish that I didn't want to be put through that. But overall, I wouldn't give it a 1. I think I would give it like a 2.5.
Nice. I'm trying to see what else he's written, but I don't think I've read anything from him.
There was that other one everyone was talking about.
Which one?
Grandpappy. That apparently is worse.
Oh, God. No, I'm good.
Did you know that there was an alternate cover for this book?
What was it?
It's basically the same thing, like the same face, but on it has like a little summary, and I want to read it to you because I thought it was really good.
Let me see.
On the cover, it's just half of the face. This is what the back of the book looks like, apparently. And it says, Bart is 30, he is bald, he is overweight, he wears glasses, he's a fry cook, he hates cats and kids. Bart occasionally does very bad things. He is looking for his perfect match. He has done the research.
Wasn't that the summary in Goodreads?
Oh, was it?
Yeah, I think
that's also the back of the book.
Okay.
I thought that was cool. I thought that was the front, but what did you rate it?
I'm not a fan of this either. Again, no shame to anyone who likes this types of books, but to me, it just kind of feels like I would really rather read anything else. I think it was after this book when I first started feeling kind of like, I just
what was your spookometer?
I miss romance. I think I don't know, because I guess maybe I was a little spooked. I'm not sure. It was definitely unsettling. I guess I would give it like a 2.5 on the spookometer. But it was also
I get it.
Short, so.
Can I say something? And this is just for you. It's not for the listeners, so please cover your ears. Even though I don't like this book and gave it a 2, I still don't hate this book as much as one of the other ones that we read.
Oh, okay. Nothing but Black and Tea.
Yeah, that's coming up like maybe later.
Okay. I think I would give this book a 1. Actually, if I could not rate it, I would not rate it. But I would give it a 1.
You don't have to rate it. You don't even have to say you read it. You could just leave it in the past.
No, I'm going to give it a 1. I'll give it a 1.
Oh my gosh. I'm sorry to those of you.
Go ahead. Just bring up that on here someone said this book was a lot of fun. Bart is a really quirky, lovable character. What the fuck? What the fuck? Did we read the same book?
I know. He's over here reading someone's fan fiction. Why don't you look? What do you want to look for? The good review or the bad review?
I just want one that's unhinged. God bless Storygraph. Because I'm able to give it a 0.25. Thank God for Storygraph. Shout out.
I actually want to end the episode with this.
Oh, yeah, go ahead
after this, I want the song to play.
Go ahead.
So yeah, thank you. And I'm sorry to anyone who's listening to us in audio form.
Yeah, so sorry.
Whether that be Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, or anywhere you get your podcasts on. Thank you so much for listening. I swear we don't just read these types of books. We used to read romance a very long time ago, but we did. You should go check our other episodes out. If you could please leave us a rating of 5 stars and a review, maybe recommending us some good romance to get back into it, that'd be amazing. If you are wanting to help us and you have a little bit of extra money, what can they do?
So we did make a Patreon, and for the moment, it really just serves as a way for our listeners to let us know that you really appreciate us, maybe enjoy our content a little bit. You can find us on patreon.com/bookfix.
If you are watching us on YouTube, thank you so much. If you can like, comment, subscribe, and hit that notification bell, we post every Tuesday and Thursday, which we have been doing so diligently. So congratulations to us, I guess.
Yeah,
so I'm just going to read the first I'm just going to read the first 2 sentences from this review. It starts off with a quote. This comes from Angel on Goodreads, who gave it a 5 out of 5. I have trouble getting to sleep, so I stick my finger in my butt and count to 50. Okay, well, most people count sheep, but I guess if that works, okay.
Oh my god. This one is written by Nastia. They gave it 1 out of 5. They said random acts of violence randomly written in your story with no context, no reason, really hinder it from shining. This book had potential, but it was so fucking random at the end of every chapter that it felt like it was written by some depraved child with no knowledge of literary theory.
Oh my god. Thank you so much for listening, and we will talk to you next week.
Bye.
Bye.
Dude, that was so fun. I can't wait to never think about this book ever again. I can't wait.
What a quirky guy.
What a quirky guy.